Good morning, and welcome to your business in digital. I am Tamara Moluwi. Happy Monday. I am super excited to be here. It has been a whirlwind of a weekend, but we made it. We survived the eclipse. We're surviving the eclipse, the full moon, all the things. So, super excited. Guys, how are you guys doing this morning? Happy Monday.
Happy Full Moon Monday.
Happy full moon Monday.
Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday.
All right, well, let's get this party started. It is your business in digital, and today we got a jam-packed show for you. It is going to be awesome. We're still talking customer journey, so let's get this party started. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to your business in digital. Woo! Sorry, I'm getting myself like applause already. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about this show, right? Your Business in Digital is the show that's really made for business executives and small business owners and the small business team just in general, right? Because what we're doing here is we're pulling together finance, we're pulling together sales and pricing, we're pulling together operations and marketing to really make sure that we are breaking down those silos and looking at digital marketing in a way that makes sense, that can get you back to that place of money in the bank, saying to your CFO, hey, CFO, we increased revenue by 20%, 30% year over year with digital. That CFO will be so happy. Go smile. The CFO loves that. So let me get some housekeeping out of the way. Here's how you can connect with us. Connect with us on YouTube, connect with us on LinkedIn, connect with us on Instagram, on Facebook. We are live in those places Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 a.m. If you can't make that, that's fine. Just catch us on the replay. We love a good replay, and we are seeing people catch us on the replay. So thank you to everyone watching the show. We're seeing the numbers increase, and we love that. Also, if you like podcasts, we upload this to everywhere podcasts are found, right? We're on Apple, Spotify, all the places, so you can check us out there as well. Definitely tell a business executive about this show. Tell a business owner about this show. We're breaking down those strategies that make sense. We're giving you the questions to go back to your agency to ask, hey, how's this connected back to my business goals? We're giving you the blueprint here at your business in digital, so definitely tell folks about the show. All right? So that's it. That's the housekeeping. All right. I love that we have these tools where we can just kind of give ourselves a little bit of a round of applause at any point in time. All right. So let's jump into the recap. And last week we started the journey of we started the conversation about the customer journey, but we really leaned into the buying persona. So of course, I'm going to put Michelle, I'm just going to kick it over to you because, you really leaned into this. And this is what you do when you're talking sales and pricing, right? You lean into those buying personas because it's really important. It's an important part of the conversation. So do the recap, Michelle. Go for it.
Well, yes, it is a key component of the client journey as we're taking our customers to and through, as we said last week, their experience with us from wherever they're joining us. And this is truly one of the places that we talk about breaking down the silos, where all components that Tamara spoke of not just sales and pricing, but what's going on with finance, where does operations play a key role, as well as where does the marketing component come into it. And we always bring it back home to the very initial place that we initially spoke about back in season 1, pretty much every episode, but definitely season 4, episode 1, where we said, let's make sure that we understand who our online buyer is. Do we understand the demographics? Let's make sure that we understand their buying behavior so that we are meeting their need from the very beginning and answering that call with the right response. Understanding what those pain points are, because it's really important for us to anticipate what they're going to need and how we're going to put a salve on that wound, how we're going to meet that need as they're entering our cycle. And no matter where they enter the buying component of their journey, we want to be able to answer that question regardless of where they're entering. And then more importantly, more than anything, because it's never a linear path to any part of our client journey, what are the different touch points that they are requiring that we serve up in order for us to meet their need and to capture their attention in the right way? So is that through social media? Is that through website visits? Are we sending an email? So offline touch points, texting, whatever it is that our clients need, because we're meeting them where they are, not where we want them to be, but where they are. And how are we meeting that call every place that they are with multiple touch points, wherever they are in the buying cycle? So I really enjoyed our conversation last week. As Nia mentioned, it needed to be in multiple parts because this was such a big component of us getting to the right partner that we want in our buying cycle and for our business. So we needed to stretch this out and really spend quite a bit of time on each one of those points to make sure that we were doing right by our business, as well as putting our clients first in everything that we're doing.
Such an amazing recap. We take these things when we're in the heart of the excitement of the marketing. We sometimes take all these pieces for granted, right? As we're talking marketing, we're always here like, the creative, the message, the thing, and we really miss that deep dive with understanding the customer, what they're looking for, getting to know them like they are your BFF, right? Because it's this relationship where you're kind of like, oh, what is she thinking? What is he thinking? And you kind of know, if you're BFF, you're in this space and you're kind of like, I know what you're thinking. We don't even have to look at each other, right? And so you want to get to that type of relationship with the customer where it's kind of like, what they're thinking, you're anticipating for them. And sometimes when our goals get in the way, we forget about those customers completely. So this buying persona is critical to your digital marketing strategy.
I had a conversation with a client this weekend, and I said, remember those great conversations that you have when you're on in a social setting, or if you're on the first date and you're like, that conversation went really well. There were no awkward silences. We leaned in and we were finishing each other's sentences. That's the kind of experience that you want your clients to have, that you want to have even in a business to business engagement in that B2B environment, where you're having those type of engagements and that type of synergy going on because you've done your homework. They are engaging with you. They're leaning into what you're saying. And when we have the appropriate customer journey set up by doing all of the homework that we mentioned last show. So this is the point that we say, if you haven't listened, go back and listen to the show, because we dropped a whole lot of things in that show that helps you to make that frictionless, that we make sure that all of the four components that we have on this screen today, if you are part of operations, how do we make sure that once they are involved, that they are picking up the ball and running with it from that point? I don't want to bring the fishing or the driving component into the conversation yet today, but nonetheless, what we're saying is let's make this as frictionless as possible, seamless, comfortable for ourselves, so that all needs are being met, especially when we're placing our clients first.
I loved our conversation, and I loved that, we focused on the online buyer. That was a conversation that, we identified this online buyer behaves differently to maybe a physical buyer. So if you're in a space where you're interacting both physically and virtually, it was good that we were able to separate the online person, because they have a little bit of different behaviors that might need a little more tinkering and tweaking, versus the personal, where you're in person and you could probably talk to a little more easier. So it's really important that as you look at your business, that you identify these different buying personas and that you can address them. Because if you're not addressing them, those could be whole segments of your market that you're just not reaching. So really important conversation. And I really hope that the takeaway for business owners was just to pay a little more attention to these buyer personas, so that they can help you achieve your sales targets.
Very well said. I'm not going to add much more. We've got to get on with our show, but understand that, business owners watching this, and want you all to understand that it means that we can craft these experiences online. So once we understand those buyer personas, digital gives us the means and the tools to craft very different journeys from, say when you just had your ad in the newspaper or you just had it on the television, right? So then I had to go and look for it the next day. That's just what it was, right? But now, if you understand what your client is looking for, how they're looking, what they're doing, it allows you to craft these journeys. So very important discussion. Glad we're continuing it today.
Yay! Oh my God, you guys are so smart. Y'all say things and I'm like, I know these people. I'm like, how often do you get to hang out with a CFO, a principal strategist, and the director of sales and operations? Every Monday and Wednesday. Every Monday and Wednesday. All right, so moving on along, we are moving on along to our hot topic segment, which I'm excited about because I don't even know what we're talking about today. I love these because they're like revealed to me. Oh my God, we're talking about Rihanna. We love Rihanna.
Yes, on this show we love us some Riri. We love Rihanna. She's our Caribbean girl, and we love what she does, and we love to pay attention to her. So, what are we talking about today? So, very recently, Rihanna went to India, and she basically came out of like her 8-year retirement from performing for a private performance for one of the wealthiest persons in India. So she came out for Anant Amambi's pre-wedding event, right? So we won't talk about how big the event was because this is a pre-wedding event. I understand they're actually getting married in July. So we're talking about months of celebrations, but that's besides the point. So he is the person that she attended the wedding, or at least the pre-event, is the youngest son of multi-billionaire Mukesh Ambani. He is the chairman and managing director of Reliance Industries. If you go to the next slide here. An estimate suggests that she made $8 to $9 million, or 0.6% of her total net worth, from this private concert. So when you put it like that, it may sound like, wow, okay, she made $8 million from this one event. Why travel so far for this paycheck, right? Guys, she traveled to India for the bigger picture, for Fenty Beauty to enter the Indian market. Fenty, if you did not know, Fenty Beauty is valued at $2.8 billion, and it sells through Sephora stores. So in all over the world, it sells through Sephora stores and other retail stores like Ulta and Boots in the UK and the US. In Europe, the Middle East, Mexico, etc., Fenty is sold exclusively in Sephora. But here's the thing, there's no Fenty Beauty in India right now. There's absolutely no presence. So, to capture this presence, Rihanna is now eyeing Sephora India. And this is where the visit came in. So the chairman, the person of the wedding that she had, the person who hired her, they acquired the rights for Sephora India just recently in November of 2023. So while she was there to seemingly perform for this private event, Rihanna was really there to make business connections and to get her brand into India. And she basically may have cracked a deal for her business and still got paid for her visit there. So hats off to her. So what does this mean for small businesses? Here's the lessons that I want you to take away from this though, because the internet was all a frenzy when she did it. It was so amazing. Oh, Rihanna's in India and she's performing for this billionaire. But see the bigger picture, guys. Let's talk about why she really went to India. Rihanna had her eyes on the prize and saw the potential for the action that she did, which was to go and play in this, perform in this private event. So she always had the bigger picture in mind. Her bigger picture in mind was to start creating that relationship in India, start getting a presence in India, because of course, in the days that in months that followed, she's trending in India. Because I think this event was earlier on in March. So in the weeks that follows, she trended in India, right? Use your strengths wisely. Rihanna went back to her core, which is music. She went back to her core strength, which is music, to create the opportunity that she needed for the second business, which is Fenty Beauty. And the third thing I want you to take away: strategy, strategy, strategy. Always put strategy into your decision making. Even if the outside world does not understand the move and it might look weird, quote unquote, you must know what its true purpose is. And that's exactly what Rihanna did. So to the outside world, maybe it looks like cool. It's like, oh, she went to India and she performed for one of the richest men in India. No, it was not just a trip to India. It had a business and a business reason attached to it. And now she's going to be trending in India. So when she starts to bring across her fancy products through Sephora India, she's already known. So, guys, that's our hot topic today. Love us some Riri. Love the moves.
Dude, oh my God. There've been so many of them, but this is good stuff. And so, all right. So being from Trinidad, and I mean, Andrea, you're East Indian, right? Of East Indian descent. So now understanding that Barbados as well. So the skin colors, right, with the Fenty, and it hit all its lights.
Absolutely.
It's like a perfect. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
understands East Indian culture, the skin tones, so that's already baked into the product. Oh, and then
Correct.
the new
She's
market.
from she's from the Caribbean, half of us of that Indian heritage. I mean, it was a match made in heaven, right? But she
Oh,
saw the opportunity. And while everybody was trending about the performance, there was a real reason behind it. And when you read and you look at it and you research it, it's like, oh no, she's making moves. She's making business moves because Fenty is not in India. I was shocked to learn that actually, that Fenty was not in India. And the person that she was performing for acquired the rights for Sephora. Like think about the logic there. Acquired the rights for Sephora. She wants Sephora to sell Fenty. Of course, I'm going to come and sing for your son.
just 80.6% of my value. I'll take the payment. and
I'll take the payment.
right.
Right? She
Deborah
came
is
out of retirement, guys.
right. Good morning, Deborah. Getting dollars to network and market. Great strategy. I mean, shout out to Riri and her skills as a businesswoman, that team, that just to connect the dots, the homework. Go for it, Michelle.
Everything.
I can't shut up.
I'm going to pull the thread a little bit more for you. Let's talk about who she's really partnered with. LVMH. So Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy. Let's remember, I think it was last season. One of the things, it was last season because I was in Paris and I sent you all a big photo of Rihanna on the side of the Louis Vuitton building, because that's, think of the partnership, Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy. She was with Louis Vuitton. Sephora is owned by LVMH. So they are networking. The partnerships is where I'm going with this. Think about what we talk about when we are thinking of our businesses, how we want if we want to diversify and if we want reach, where do we want our names and our businesses to be in the right places? That's going to be the right vehicle to get our businesses in the places that we want to be in. If that wasn't one of the smartest moves that she's ever made, business owners sit back and start paying attention to things like this. India, the component that you were talking about, the gentleman who bought rights into Sephora. I'm willing to bet if you go into a little bit more of there, the connections are so tightly woven in many other places. So the visibility is there. She's getting in front of everything. She not only got Fenty out there, but you can best believe ex Fenty is somewhere in there as well. She has diversified herself, not only taking herself out of music, but she's got herself in beauty. She's got herself in fashion. She's partnered with very luxurious places. So she's saying off the top of the bat, I want to be associated with this type of customer. So she's helping you to qualify or disqualify yourself simply by the people that she's associating her businesses with. I tell you, the lessons that are in this one thing are just phenomenal. They need to be studying Rihanna and what she's doing in some master's class at some college in the B2B, in the B school, because what she's doing is just unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. Hats off. Great hot topic. Great hot topic.
We are studying it here at the University of Your Business and Digital. Case study brought to the table by Professor
Absolutely.
Case study lessons learned.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. And I
You know
love
I can't
my
get
favorite
enough
part.
of this, right? You
I
know I
know.
can't get enough of
know.
this. So I've said it.
This Riri fan on
I
stage.
just, I want to see the wedding invitation. Dear Rihanna and Fenty, would you like to come at our wedding? And Fenty's like, yeah, Rihanna, let's go, right? So this is absolutely amazing when I read this topic this morning. Thanks, Andrea. The depths of it, you're right. There's so many questions and so many good things that we see out of this business case. I could just only imagine the social media that's going to come out of it, giving our content going down the road for any potential launch that we see later down the road. So brilliant stuff. Rihanna, yes, businesswoman of the quarter century, you name it. I love it.
I
Yep,
tell
love it.
you.
And I've got to go online and look for some of the visuals, because remember when she did this in the Super Bowl, one of her actions was to actually pull up in a lipstick, and that thing sold out. So I'm wondering if there were different actions of that nature where they knew components of that was going to go viral in social media. And I've got to go back and study that as well, because those were classic moves. Our marketing people are top notch.
Or did they have favors? Did they have like party bags where they gave out bowls? Like what happened? And then the other thing
that's what I'm wondering. I'm
Right?
wondering that those swag
like,
bags are. I'm sure there was some swag bags. And just remember, guys, this is a pre-wedding event. The actual wedding is still to come. So there's so many possibilities. There's so many possibilities. But I absolutely love it.
One thing I want to add is definitely that India is an emerging market, right? So when we look at, where things are going with India, that's like one of the huge emerging markets. So the fact that she's stepping into that market just kind of shows you, hey, she's an early adopter. Like this business is a solid. I love this team.
In multiple ways. Paid in multiple ways. I just really appreciate the way she's putting out there. Here are the people. Here's my client base. These are my people, my target audience, and here's who I'm going after. In multiple layers. She did it by saying LVMH. Saying yes, I will. You may, give me multiple millions of dollars for my performance, but also this is a caliber of people that I want. And hello, social media community. Look, so she's appealing to a bunch of different target audiences for different facets of her business, not just her music, not just her fashion, but her beauty line as well.
One of my favorite parts. One of my favorite parts was just the fact that she went back to her core to help bring Fenty along. She went back to music. This wasn't just she went for a business meeting or she just attended an event. She went back to her core. She came out of so-called retirement for it. And I love that she went back to, this is what I know. This is my strength. This is how I'm going to get them. I'm going to go back to my music. That's what I know. That's my core strength. And I'm going to use that to leverage. I just love that part of it. So love it.
Okay, I know like this is not the show, but Nia's like in the background, like time check, but this is the last piece.
Right.
The music, if we had to look at it in digital marketing terms, the music is now the strategy that she's leveraging to get her business, right? So it's like, let me go back to my core. Here's where this is, because I can draw in an audience this way. And if 10% of this audience were to convert, boom, I'm in a new market. Queen Riri. I think we just need like a Queen Riri like image or something. So every time things are good, we can just put up our Queen Riri image. I think we're all down with it. Yeah, we got to think about it. Like, Rihanna, love you.
Every season in our hot topic. Every season.
Yeah. Which is always a good hot topic. You know what I mean? I don't even know what's going on in her personal life, but from a business standpoint, digital standpoint, I'm like, and it's the perfect hybrid, right? Okay, this is not the Riri show. Sorry. All right. Andrea, amazing. Another round of applause. All right. So, okay. So we're moving on to our other famous topic, our other famous segment. Go beyond the likes. I have on my sweatshirt this morning. So go beyond the likes is where we really delve into that strategy, right? Where we say, hey, this is how you need to look at the strategy, and these are the tactics that need to follow it. We really want to move you beyond those likes and follows to that place of money in the bank. And what should you be doing? And if you're working with an agency, what are the things they should be doing? And what are the conversations you're having with them around that? So today we're continuing the conversation on customer journey because it's super, super important. Oh, we used Mike's picture. Yay! The B2B customer
That
journey.
caught me a bit off guard, but I was like,
I
oh,
know.
that's me.
Whoa. So the B2B customer journey blueprint from curiosity to conversion. So let's jump in here. This is going to be a good one, and we spent a lot of time on Riri, so we're going to have to. Okay, we're gonna have to manage this. So, you know, Nia and I were kind of talking about this. Friday, we went a little bit back and forth, and we're like, you know, how are we gonna talk about this? We're gonna talk about this as a tour guide, right? So we've all been on a tour somewhere, on a boat somewhere. I'm sure we've all been. Many of us have been. So we definitely want to, you know, position it in that way. So think about building that awareness, right, with the customer as, you know, the beginning of a tour, right? So let's just say you're in the wonderful island of Tobago. It's one of my favorite tours where you get on the glass bottom boat and it's all fun and you see all the things, right? So they start letting you know about, you know, when you're on that first thing, they're like, hey, here's what the place is like. Here's what we're doing. Here's what happens here. Here's some of the things you can do, right? So if you're crafting your awareness, you know, journey like that, you want to start thinking about the things that you understand, their pain points, their challenges. And as they're going through your tour, what they're seeing are, here's their pain point, but here's a solution. Here's their pain point, but here's a solution. So they're slowly moving through this thing with, I came here, I put something in search that said, these are my problems. And then what you get is a solution. So you're really this tour guide crafting this elegant journey that makes them feel good, you know, with, you know, some explanations along the way, a drink, something to eat. So information they can take back to say, yeah, these people seem to get me, buying persona, because you've done the homework. These people seem to get me. And man, every time I click, I get another answer to a question or to a pain point. We didn't know how to do this in our company. You know what? I'm going to continue researching them. Let me follow them. Let me follow them on YouTube. Let me follow them somewhere where they're providing more information. And that's kind of how you start crafting that journey of awareness, right? So, team, I'm going to kick it over to you as we talk about the pre-tour, the preparation, building awareness for your brand, your business to really hit to that B2B customer.
I think it's who's going to go first this time? I think it's we've talked about this many a day, how it's important for you to have a plan. What's your plan of action, not just for you and your team, but what is the experience that you want your customers or existing or potential, your prospects, to understand as their first impression of your business. And what's the next thing? What's the next? What's the next? So that's what we're literally planning and saying, okay, what am I going to get next? What are they going to say next? What is my response going to be next? These are the things that we're talking about in the awareness section, because again, last year we talked about all of those components that are required for us to get to this place and build that anticipation. And the first look at us to be very good and a positive one to make them want to continue to lean in and spend more time with us.
I love this because, You know, I don't know if Michelle ever heard this, but in Caribbean we have a saying: if you when you're going to school, if you fail to prepare, prepare to fail. So that's what we usually tell our kids when we try to get them to do well in school, do well in exams. And the preparation part is so important. And business owners should not underestimate how important this little prep part is, especially part. I want to focus on the part where we speak about the person's industry. You don't know if there are any nuances in somebody's industry that makes them more likely to buy or less likely to buy. So you need to really do your homework to understand what is really the specific nuance in this industry that maybe I need to customize a solution for it, or maybe they're not the right person for me. Maybe it's too complex for me, and I need to step away, or they're not the right person for me. So I just want to focus on that part. Understanding not just the person's pain points, but understanding their industry, because it makes a wealth of difference eventually later on in the execution.
Great place to start. Love that we're taking this tack on it. So having run some tours myself, this is really interesting, because yes, you start off at that point of understanding your market, right? So if I'm a tour guide, I have to understand, who's going to be on that tour, what are the range of restrictions, whether it be diet, whether it be physical restrictions, etc., all while I'm putting together that tour. Right, so that's really where it starts. So I love this take on it. I think this will be really good and interesting to go down this line with it.
Yeah. And so let's take it a step further, and let's consider the B2B journey a VIP tour. So we're not just doing a tour, right? It's really, the business is worth X to you, right? So let's just say the business is worth, I don't know, $1 million a year. You know what I mean? Let's throw out the number. So the business is worth that to you. So what does that mean? So it means that you're really crafting a VIP tour experience. You know their names, you know their industry, you know their pain points. You might even know their kids' names, right? Everybody on the tour in the family, you kind of understand, as Michael said, what are the restrictions, diet, all those things. So as we move on to the next stage, what we're looking at is really welcoming them in. So consider that in that awareness stage, you're not the only person that they're talking to, right? But you've crafted an experience that gets them in the door. They might be researching with somebody else who might have a good experience, probably not as good as yours, because you've really done your homework. So those are the areas where you get to win, you start winning the competition and start getting ahead of the competition. So now welcoming them into your world. How are you going to welcome them? How are you going to make them feel good? A good tour guide, welcomes you, makes you feel warm, makes you feel like, hey, I can really connect with this person. I can ask for different things. I can get all my needs met. So how are you going to welcome them in? How are you going to personalize the interaction? How are you going to make them feel like, hey, here's a little bit of a test warmer? How are you going to let them taste, see what you have to offer? So that welcoming in has to be personalized, and industry becomes important as well. Because at this point, you may or may not have their name. So what does personalization really mean? If you understand the industry, the personalization can come from the industry talk as well too, right? A perfect example is we have a call tomorrow with a potential client. And one of the things I did was, in booking the call, to book the call, I took a different approach. I went ahead, did some research, provided them with some numbers, sent them over a video that said, hey, here's the potential blah, blah, blah information, but it was all about their business. It had nothing to do with, delusions of grandeur. It was like, here's where you are, here's where your opportunities reside. And it was a very different conversation. And this person actually at another event in front of people brought this up, said, hey, this was a differentiator for Monovan Digital and their brand. I highlighted something else, but they highlighted that this video was really all about them. They felt like they understood the information. So it was personalized on a level about the industry, right? So those are areas where you can really win. So welcoming in those guests in a way that's personalized is super important. So I'm going to kick it over to the team.
I'll say really quickly in this area, one of the things that's really important, especially in a B2B environment, is that there are usually multiple people that you're speaking with. So that welcome needs to be catered to the role that that person is playing in that particular deal that you're trying to move over to the next stage. And part of that welcome is what Tamara did, a pre-questionnaire in some instances, or some other touch point, so that once they're in your world, not only are you validating by personalizing and restating what they said is important, but also inviting them to add to that that they may have thought of after they've answered those initial questions. And that personalizing and adding to it helps you to also understand what you will need to address later and not be so surprised when the question comes up, because you don't have to get ready if you are ready to begin with. So, and thank you, Tamara, for that little lanyard that you said that you provided to your customer, your differentiators. That is on the money, on the money.
All right, so point number 3, we're moving on to point number 3 in the customer journey is guiding through the experience. This is the consideration phase. So I'm going to kick this over to Mike to talk a little bit about this and go from there. Go for it, Mike.
Sure. So guiding the customer through the experience, that consideration phase. So just like the tour, the guide is going to lead the guest through each point of interest, right? So we can imagine, you're on that tour and you're like, this rock was et cetera, right? At this point in time. So what are the points of interest? Now think of it from, as Tamara was just saying, from that wholly customer perspective. Even when you're on a tour, you as the person on the tour, you may not find interest in some of the things that they're showing you, and you may find interest in other things, right? That's exactly what's happening. You be like, oh, that's okay, or oh, that's amazing. So similarly, online, during this consideration stage, you want to assist those customers, offering detailed comparisons. This is where we've seen, and we've talked about it on this show, and the statistics show it. People are looking for that transparency. What are you solving? How do you solve it? How long does it take, etc.? So you want to make sure that you're engaging directly through that consultative selling process and understanding that those specific needs of those specific needs of that customer, and demonstrating clearly how your solution fits that customer. So that's guiding your customer through the experience.
It's so important to guide them and because it gives them context as well too, right? So if you send someone a paragraph, a text, whatever the case may be, everything is open to interpretation, right? That person takes that information in a way that is like, okay, cool, this is my perspective in my bubble based on all my preconceived notions, all the things. But the minute you really craft a guided experience, you're now giving them context. So a part of one of the things we do in the same, bringing back the same video, it's creating a product and then adding video to it gives them context. So when I do an assessment, I give them context. So they're not reading this document without the guide, right? How are you guiding them through your process? Because that's really, really helpful. Because when people get by themselves, they're just like, well, I thought it was this in my head. That's what they say a lot, right?
I think one of the ways that you can guide to that is a practical way to add to what you're saying is most of us have talked about reviews and testimonials that we have. As you're speaking with your clients in a consultative way, as Michael's saying, this is a consultative sell typically in a B2B environment. One of the ways that you can, one, validate and bring that social proof in and also answer a client's question is to utilize one of those testimonials, one of those statements in the examples that you're providing. For instance, one of the things that I've utilized is as I'm working with a customer on pricing, and we start speaking of the timing of things and how they are time bound in a specific way, I will pull one of the examples that I have and say, well, this client that I worked with, who is similar to what you're doing, had this specific problem. Here's how we worked through it. And these were the results. And this is how we gauged it. This is how we problem solved. These were the results. Here's how we tested it. Then I followed up by sending them that example, that testimonial from that person. So as a mental reminder, but also proof that this does work and it helps with the next conversation. So those are specific ways that you can help to guide a conversation and provide validity and the trusting component that you will need in order to get them across the finish line.
Moving on to point number 4. So this is where we start talking about that evaluation phase, right? So we move through awareness, consideration, and now they're getting to that point of evaluating in this B2B customer journey. So we're talking here about interactive segments. So Andrew, I'm going to kick this over to you.
All right. So what we're seeing here with interactive segments, the evaluating part is just as the tour allows guests to experience in a more engaging and memorable way, this evaluation part needs to offer your potential customers some hands-on experience with your product or your service. What does that look like? So that could look like maybe a free trial, a demo, some sort of pilot program, and basically support them with comprehensive guidance and support to showcase how your solution can be integrated into their operations. And this is the part that allows them to actually do the evaluation. Because once what they want to understand is how can your specific product or service solve this problem that I am having. So this is where if we jump back to one of the earlier things where we talk about the preparation and the learning of your customer industry and the learning of what is happening there, that will allow you to be able to provide them with the right offering, the right demo, and the right direction to say, this is how I can help you. They can't evaluate you fairly if they can't see how the solution helps them. And this is where you could be shooting yourself in the foot if you're not demonstrating that in the right way, because then your evaluation, while your product or service might be really good, it could be unfair to you if you didn't give them the right tools for them to evaluate, if you didn't guide them along the process properly. So you really want them to understand, here's what I have, here's how it can help you. And then they could compare that to maybe another solution that they've been searching. Because remember, they're not looking at you only, right? They're talking to other people. And you don't know what the other people are providing to them or what the other people are saying. Remember, your product or service could be coming up against a referral from a friend who how are they going to how are they going to evaluate this person who they trust says, oh no, this person really helped me out, versus you who you probably came in as a cold reference. How are you giving them this evaluation? So the evaluation is critical to the process because it allows people to kind of give you a grade. So if you're not prepared, as we said in points 1, the whatever you offer up as the evaluation could fall short and could actually be to your detriment.
Ooh, I love that. That was good. That referral. That was really good. It was just like, oh man, the warm referral, the cold, and thinking it through, right? How does this? How do I see myself with you? Can we work together? Does this work? Does it save me time? Does it hit my pain points so good that the thing that my friend said to me, this is going to relieve your pain, I'm going to be like, no, that is game changing because there's a level of difficulty. So if we were to approach all our B2B journeys or all our customer journeys, whether it's B2B or B2C, from a standpoint of there is a best friend out there already giving them a referral. So you now have to level up and then differentiate yourself from the BFF to actually win the business. You put that mindset on, you're like always like, all right, I need to do all these things. So it really needs to be a ta-da moment, not necessarily splashy or extravagant, but really hitting their pain points and showing them that difference. So I really love that.
And I think this is also a great point to measure movement through your pipeline or through your sales funnel, because this is a great conversion point to measure. In my mind, I imagined, let's say you're selling machinery, factory machinery. So this is at that point where you want to have that tour and that demo of the machinery working, right? Where does it fit? How is it placed in your factory? How long does it take to customize? What are the customizable points of that machinery? So that's a very clear B2B and application of this, where you're looking at, as you said, getting into that stage of, well, you've done these things, you've seen what this tour is about, you want to take this tour, and this is what that free trial or demo looks like in that case. Go for it, Michelle. I saw you.
it is. I think as we've been talking, remember, we're progressing through the journey at this point. So we are doing, as we're going through, it's warmer. We're doing some validating. And I think this is key for us. Again, multiple people that we're touching, that we have to, at this point, ensure that not only are we meeting their needs, but Andrea, I'll flip and restate something that you said. We're ensuring that this client is right for us as well. And that's really, really important that is done, and that we don't get all warm and fuzzy over their engagement with us. We have to keep our heads level and understand that, is this feeling right to me? And what's right for our business? What are the other business partners that I have in my business? What are they feeling about how this sale is going as well? Those interaction and how that tour is going as well. So it's a give and take that I want to make sure that we place on the table as we're talking about this journey.
100%. No, that makes total sense. I love that point. That's, you're right. We feel warm and fuzzy. You know what I'm saying? You get a new client talking to you, you're like, oh my God. I think he likes me. And then you're kind of like, well, do I really like him? Should we? Because you can start telling. There's some signs very early, right? There are the signs. Your signs of, can this work? Are we really going to be connected? And the flags are there. So even when it feels like you're like, oh, they're saying all the right.
We're feeling all warm and fuzzy, and here's the friend on the side saying, but did you not see this? Like, did you not? Hold on a second. There's a flag, and a big blaring one. How did you miss that one? Or the other one that says, but I've been checking the numbers, and the numbers make sense. And I've done the background check while you were feeling all warm and fuzzy, and that's feeling good as well. Here are the things that are on track for what meets our business needs as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I think, as business owners, we should be, just like people will vet us to work with us, right? Deep dive our work, our everything we've done, talk to our customers. As a customer, it's the same thing too. You want to understand, how are they as customers as well? How do they function? What was the last relationship like? Why are they really leaving that last relationship? Is this a new pain point, right? Was somebody solving this for you before? And understand some of those things, because it'll tell you, it'll give you some information. So I think that's important. So while we're saying the customer journey is critical, you still cannot forget yourself and your business and the things that matter. So I really love that. So, all right, moving on to point number 5. We're talking to that place of getting to the decision, right? Finalizing the tour details. So go for it, Michelle.
Oh, I love this part. The salesperson in me just loves this part, because we often say in this space the ABC, always be closing. We're on point 5, so points 1 through 4, we are doing a lot of the dating, the early dating, to get to know each other, the pulse checks throughout all of those 4 stages to revalidate everything that is important to your prospective client, or the next stage for those that have been working with you for a moment. And that's for every person that's part of that decision-making process, not just the person that's signing the contract or cutting the check, but the influencers as well. Have we been doing the pulse checks along the way? Because at this stage, this is almost a formality. We are restating in black and white, call it black and white physical paper, or that online proposal, or that intent to engagement component with them on the pricing, because you've already spoken about that. The components of implementation, because we've already talked about that. How you are going to relieve the pain, because we've already discussed that. So these are in the midst of this, the entire 4 stages, you're looking for this. You're looking for this. You're looking for them to revalidate, because throughout the entire time, you've been putting those words back to them to confirm and get that pulse check. So these are the pricing, the T's and C's, all of those things are the formal component to solidify the relationship at this point. If at this point we are taking it back 5 steps, then we've not done something we were supposed to do in steps 1, 2, 3, or 4. So think about that at this point. This is just getting to the final stages and getting across the finish line, not redoing everything that we did and should have taken care of in steps 1 through 4. So I really, at this point, am looking for you to marry me. I say this often. At this point, we've been dating. We got serious. We talked about some serious stuff at this point. At this point, I'm assuming the sale and we're moving forward at this point. That's how you should be feeling at this stage at step 5.
No, 100%. You should definitely be feeling confident, feeling good, but still understand that sometimes things can go wrong. All right. Somebody can come in with a better offer or a better situation that BFF could roll back and be like, listen, pull on their emotional heartstrings, and eventually they may come back to you. But,
you have to be willing to ask for the sale. Ask for the sale. And that way you're not wondering. You're asking for the sale and gaining that commitment. And I that scares a lot of people, but you straighten your spine, pull your shoulders back, ask for the sale in a way that's comfortable for you, so that there is no waffling. You're understanding fairly early on how this is going, and not that you're going to get blindsided by it. Because if you are blindsided by it, then we've missed something. And knowing and understanding where you are in the competitive landscape, where they are in the decision process, who else is at the table, and what did they put on the table that may not be good for your business or your deal that's on the table. And those are pulse checks that have to happen on steps 1 through 4. If we're missing that space, then what did we miss in the customer journey? What did we not check off of our list to make that happen? But those are valid points. We've all been there. Where we were like, oh yeah, I missed that piece.
I love that. All right. Well, of course, we're running out of time, but we're going to get to the other 2 points quickly, and then I'll send it to everyone for final thoughts, right? So then we have to talk about the tour itself, right? So which is actually the purchase, so this is where we get to the planning, the anticipation, all the things, right? We want to make sure that the purchase process is a smooth process. What do they need to do? Do they need to sign a contract? What does that look like? Where is that coming from? How are they paying their invoice? Because the sales process, that buying process, means that if it's difficult, they're going to start thinking, you know what I mean? As soon as someone gives you their money, it's game over. It's not game over, but this is where you have to be at 100 then at the beginning, but you really have to get to 150 as soon as they give you the money. Okay, signing the contract is cool, but as soon as that money comes over, it's where you are like, how do I take it to a whole other level? Communication has to get better, has to get tighter, because it's this feeling of, I have given you my money, where are you? I have given you my money, where are you? Until you start proving out yourself, because you haven't proved. You just simply said we have the right product, they believe you, but now you have to start doing the work, right? So that's point number 6. So the purchase itself is really critical, that you do not fumble that part of the customer journey. And then point number 7, it's the post tour reflection, right? It's kind of like where you're looking back on it and you're like, wow, how was this tour? It was amazing. Here are the pictures that we have. Let me tell my friends about it. So this is where you want to start getting into that place of, you've given them a great experience, the buyer journey, the consideration, all the stuff, they've gotten there, they're on the tour, they buy from you. And now what happens at the end? You've integrated the solution. You've given them a digital infrastructure. You've given them a digital marketing campaign. You've given them the thing that they've purchased from you, right? And now what does that support look like, right? Are you meeting for monthly performance reviews? Are you connecting with them? Because the communication is even more important at this time. Are you getting testimonials from them? Are you fine-tuning to understand more about their business, still involved, right? Are you reaching out? What's the touch base with them? Quarterly, monthly, making sure those things are happening, staying top of mind even after the sale happens. The post reflection and the post purchase support is probably the most important thing. If they need to buy again a year from you later, all of that says that they stay with you or they don't stay with you. If they need to refer a friend, because now they might be the bestie that's referring the friend. So there are all these considerations that you want to make this right. And, to steal from Michelle, this is where the continuum happens. This is where the continuum happens, because this is where you say, hey, we're able to retain this much of our business. This is where that conversation now comes back to the CFO. Because of our post-purchase support, we're able to maintain 50% of our business on a year-to-year basis. The other 50% moves for this reason. Those are conversations your CFO wants to understand. You're like, okay, great. That makes perfect sense. This is really helpful. This happens, but that post-purchase is important. So I'm going to kick it over to everyone. But I know Andrew's like, yeah. And she's like, CFO, we want to hear that. So I'm going to go to Michael first. Michael, say your part, say your final thoughts, and then we'll hit Michelle, Andrea last, because I'm sure you got a lot.
So I like where we stopped there, those final 3 points. But if we think back to the first 4 points, this is where we're taking that information that we learned. We understood who we're dealing with, what the tour was that we were offering, but now we've taken some information. Oh, they like this part of the tour. They want to see these things, especially. This is the group that wants to go on the tour, the final group, etc. So you're now taking that information, as I said, and really putting it together to make that conversion at the end in these last 3 points. So that's my wrap up for today, but great topic and great way to look at it as far as a tour and offering that tour and taking that guided tour with someone.
Today's conversation is so key and a nice add-on to what we spoke about last week, because what we're speaking here is more in depth of what we did last week, but we're saying that all components of this are really important and all players bring a lot of value to this in ensuring not only do we take them into our business and have that great experience, but to and through. Because once we get to the other side of them signing a contract and giving money, that's, as Tamara said, where the real component really starts to happen, because a couple of great value adds happen here. Not only do we get a resale, because that cost of acquisition for an existing client is much, much lower than when you're first trying to get them into your business. The opportunity for upsell and cross-sell into different and that you have, because when them a great experience, we're telling everybody about that great experience, right? When you've had something, they're telling everybody else. So they're coming in at a new client is coming in at point 3 versus point 1 of that tour. Really good, different opportunity and a faster clip to a sale than you had previously. So all components in that continuum, that sales cycle, are really key. And what we pointed out to you is that all of us have a point in here. Every person in the B2B space is really important to us and can make or break us at any point. So we have to have eyes on every part of the prize to ensure that we do this successfully over and over and over again. So great topic. Can't wait till we move on to Wednesday, because I'm sure we're going to add on to this as well. And I know Andrea's got a lot to add on the money piece. So let's hear it, Andrea.
Oh God, no pressure, no pressure. But I love this conversation because it's a very important part of the money-making part of the business. And as a CFO, what you want to see is you want to see this journey in action, but you also want to see which parts of this journey are you doing the best, because you'll be able to now say, this part of the journey is my differentiator. For some businesses, they land sales just based on the fact, or they get repeat sales just based on their after sales support. If your differentiator is that I am excellent at the after piece, you may find that that is what is driving your repeat business. Because as a CFO, while I'm very interested in seeing this journey, I also want to see this journey repeated multiple times, because that's the repeat business. I don't just want to see this journey and say, oh yeah, great, we did great this month and we brought in 100. I want to see, how are you taking that 100 and getting that 100 to buy one, to how you're turning that 100 into 150 in the next month, and then 200. The journey has to repeat itself. But while we are doing that, take a look at which part of the journey you are doing your absolute best, because then that could speak to whatever is your secret in this space. It could be that you are so well prepared in step one, because out of all the steps, I really like step one the most, because I feel like that lays such a strong foundation. If your secret sauce is that you research the hell out of clients so that when you deliver that pitch, they're like, wow, they really did their homework, right? Because that could lead, even if it didn't lead to a sale, it's leading to referrals, right? As Tamara gave the example, the person took her proposal and shared it, right? So even if that person doesn't close right away, you've already done something that is going to impact your future sale and help create this journey, this cycle to go on and on and on. So the sales journey, while this is really great, and we want to be able to execute the journey, I think I want business owners to pay attention to the part that you are doing absolutely great at. And that's the part that becomes the thing that will keep this journey to be repeating and bringing more sales and bringing more sales. So
I love that. I think that's super smart. See, you rose to the occasion. You have like, yes, what she said. That's exactly it. That's the secret sauce, right? So in this customer journey that you've crafted for this buying persona that you figured out and you understand, you're now saying, hey, where's my secret sauce? How do I repeat that so that sales, CFO, operations, everyone now has a blueprint to be like, this is what we do really well and this is how we do it, right? So I really love that. I think the customer journey conversation is the most important conversation that you can have with your team. As a business executive, as a business owner, you are never too small to have a customer journey really well thought out. If you haven't done it, take a step back and start thinking about that customer journey. Really put on your customer-centric hat. You understand your goals, but how do they feel along the way? Are they able to talk about you? Will they be willing to highlight you, talk about you to somebody else in the middle of the process? Do you make them feel really comfortable as they come through the door that you have the answers to the questions that they're asking? Does your business do that for you? Does that do that for them? So you really want to fine tune that journey. A lot of these times, these journeys are happening right here on our phones, right? So that's what we talk about when we talk about this journey, but it's happening on your phone. So you're the tour guide to someone on their phone with all the apps, all the browsers, all the things that pop up, all the distractions. That's where you're playing. You're not just playing in a space that is, you and them. It's the distraction space, right? So think about that as well as you're crafting that journey. And that's how you really have a strong digital journey. So, I mean, this has been a great show. We will continue to talk about customer journey because it's important. It's at the heart of everything we do, every campaign that we run, all the things you should be talking about it. If you're not talking to an agency about it, if you're working with one, you should be talking to them about that customer journey and mapping the customer journey. If not, you know what? I'm Monovan Digital. We are here to help. We also have sales and pricing here to help with mapping those buying personas. And we have our virtual CFO who is here understanding, hey, here are how the numbers need to add up all along the way. And we have operations here to talk about, these are the steps that you need to do. These are the things that you need to do to actually get this done, right? That's why we really make a solid team here at Your Business in Digital, because we give you all these perspectives. So thank you so much for joining us today. But let me tell you how you can connect with us. I want to make sure that you are talking to a business executive. If you're talking to them, tell them about this show. If you're talking to a business owner, tell them about this show. The business owner's team, let them know about this show, because we're here to help educate you on digital and how to leverage digital strategies to really grow your business. We are tired of hearing people say, hey, digital didn't help me grow my ROI. I didn't see any ROI. I can't get beyond the likes and follows, right? We want to get you to that place of money in the bank. Digital is no longer a supplement. It's something that you must have. So join us here at this show. We're live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 a.m. If you can't catch us live, that's all right. Catch us on the replay. Watch it at your convenience, on your TV, on your phone, whatever you want to do on your laptop. But if you like podcasts, we are everywhere podcasts are found. We're on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all the places, talking to you about your business in digital. This is really a show that helps you, again, go beyond those likes and follows to get to that place of money in the bank. We want you to go back to your CFO and say, digital helped me increase my revenue by 10%, by 20% year over year. So that's all, folks. Today was a great show. I am always so happy to be here with you guys. Super, super smart. You'll say some amazing things, and I'm always like, yay, best team ever. Thank you for joining us. We will be back here on Wednesday, doing another show. I can't even remember the topic of next week, Monday, Wednesday show, but it's going to be good, I swear. Join us on Wednesday. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, join us whenever. All right. Have an amazing, amazing Monday. We will talk to you. Take care. Bye.